What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the Collective Clips where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. And for that, I'm very humbled. And thank you, man. I appreciate it. So trip out on this, man. We've been, or not we, but maybe I, right? Have been trying to stay on that motherfucking pressure, man, on the neck piece of this case, man. This Goshen Massacre case where two youngsters lost their lives, basically the whole family. But I'm more focused on, and I know, hey, no death is good death, right? So it's all equal, it's all the same. But when it just comes to children losing their lives, I take a special interest in it. And I believe pressure needs to be applied, that these guys shouldn't get a breath of fresh air or rest. This should always be on their headpiece because they took the initiative, allegedly, to go out there and to take two young lives off the map for no other reason than gangbanging, for no other reason than they could. You know, they had the power that night, and it's unfortunate. So I wanted to give a little update on the case and what exactly is going on. And yep, I said it, fill it up with unleaded. I knew it from the gate exactly what was going to pop with this case. You can pretty much, once you've been incarcerated, and believe me, when you've been locked up and you've done time in prisons, you've heard every different type of story, every different type of justification. There's always going to be vatos that put a lot of different spins and twists on their case. Nobody is guilty. Everybody's innocent. And if they're not innocent, it's because their lawyer fucked up, or the judge was mean that day, or they didn't get a fucking mino mamon from someone that was something trying to do something. I mean, it was just, there's always some justification to why they're incarcerated rather than they just were on dope or they got caught. You know, if you would have never jumped in that backyard to steal that fucking engine, you know, if you would have never went in that abandoned house and tried to rip copper out of the fucking, you know, whatever, then everything would have been good. But there's always going to be them excuses. Well, there's no excuse for killing children. I don't care any way you try to spin it, twist it, flip it, reverse it. This ain't no Missy Elliott song, homie. There's no excuses. Once you're labeled as a child killer, or you're even alleged to be, you're going to get looked at some type of way, especially in the California Department of Corrections, right? Vatos are not going to give you a pass. You're not going to get to go walk on the yard and get due process and explain why. No, you don't understand, right? No, there is no, I understand. Bitch, I understand. I understand that you committed a crime and in the process, two young children were killed. But in this Goshen Massacre case, it's even worse than that. It's not like they fucking didn't know who was in the house and they threw a grenade and, oh shit, there was a newborn baby in there. It has nothing to do with that. More so, these guys knew exactly who was in that home, knew exactly what they were doing, and literally chased the young teenage girl out of the home, over a fence, down a road, past an alley, through a creek, and then did what they did. Or at least one of them did. Now, here's the cold twist in the story. When they first got caught up, or when this case first happened, the Goshen Massacre, I mean, news media went crazy. It actually made national news, and they were saying that it was a cartel-related execution. And they always try to blame the cartel. Hey, don't they always try to blame the raza and take it to the next level? Always, man. Cartels at home, they're like, ¿por qué? Right? They didn't even do shit. No involvement whatsoever. This was just basic norteño, sureño beef, man. North and south, upstater beef is what they like to call it, right? And it's as simple as that. But it's not that simple. And let me explain to you. Here's some knowledge you can't get in college. You know, I come from a smaller city in the Central Valley. Not the smallest. We're mid-size. But there's a lot of surrounding little areas like the little town that my cousin's from, Super North. Well, that's not even a town. That's different. And we're going to get to that later on. I got a double banger coming, Super Norteño Part 3, you know, the Norteño Strikes Back. And so we got another one, you know, not Return of the Jedi, Return of my Primo. It's coming, but that's later. So trip out. You know, in these small little towns, crime happens and everyone knows the story. Everyone hears about it. Everybody knows everybody. So in a town the size of Goshen in Tulare County, it's a very small town. I think it's only one exit on and off the freeway. You know, the 99, and that's it. That's what you got coming. And ain't nothing wrong with the little towns. Some people like to live in little towns like that. They like to stay away from the fucking big city living and all the drama. But the way gangs have infused California, it doesn't matter where you go, there's going to be somebody gang related. There's going to be drama. I know so many vatos say, I'm going to move out of town. I'm going to go to Bakersfield. I'm going to move because I want to do something with my life. And then they get there and they realize, oh shit, nobody knows I'm a DO. Oh shit, nobody knows I fell off in fucking Tehachapi in 92. Oh shit. And then they start to recruit youngsters because youngsters see the tattoos. They see the big brocha. And they're like, hey, whopping Holmes, right? And then next thing you know, he's fucking got the local hangout spot, buying all these young kids 40s and brainwashing them. Diddy, right? He's on his Diddy shit, minus ass cheeks. Now, that ain't cool. That ain't cool, but people do that because now they can feel like they're that man, knowing damn well in LA, San Jose, Salas, Merced, Modesto, wherever they're from, they weren't shit. That's just exactly the way the game is. In fact, they were less than shit. So now they go to another smaller place and they infuse it with gang-related shit and they ruin the community. Now, however the gang sprang up, now Tulare County is very seasoned, been around a long time. There's been a lot of gangs, okay? A lot of north and south. Not as much south as north, but there is. And in this little town, Goshen, it was the Hatfields and McCoys. Basically, it was this one familia that claimed the sur. Basically, not all of them, but they had family members that were pretty well known, were out there putting in their work, doing their thing. And these norteños didn't like it. And so the justification for going and doing what they were doing was they were actually looking for someone who was putting in that work. There was beef there. It wasn't like an incident that just happened on the spur of the moment. This was well planned, executed, and best believe not at the direction or the discretion of the big homies. They weren't told, go kill children. You're never told that. Shit happens. You know, you are always under the assumption when you sign up on the dotted line to become a gang member for whatever cause you're from, the opposition or the enemies to be eradicated on sight or anytime they pose a simple threat to what you got going on. That's real game. It doesn't mean you have to go hunting like these youngsters believe, I'm going to go hunting, bro. I'm going to earn stripes. It doesn't matter if you kill them today or tomorrow. It's not going to change the way people think about you. It's not going to make you more downer because guess what? Most of the shit that happens on the streets doesn't count when you're behind the walls. You have to reprove yourself so you can kill 10 motherfuckers on the streets. Hey, be that man. Get in there and still get whacked, homes, because you smell like shit. It's just the way it is. Okay, it's the way it is, and I'm telling you guys to get down. So, however these guys were feeling, whether it was business, maybe they felt like these guys were conducting business on their streets, or they just didn't like them, or this guy was putting in that work. These two individuals allegedly decided to pull up on the late night and do their thing. Now, we've all heard the story. If you haven't, look it up, the Goan Massacre, the Goshen killings about a year and a half ago or a year ago. I don't even like to just speak on the details of the case other than, you know, it was all bad from the gate. Now, of course, when national news got a hold of it, they elaborated on it and made it their own and twisted and turned it just because there was two children involved. There was a young teenage girl with her 8-month-old baby, or maybe it was 4-month-old baby. I don't remember the exact details at this point, but it was a little baby. And everybody got killed in the house. I think it was 5 or 6 individuals, okay? And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And I remember seeing the headlines and thinking, damn, the Mexican family is getting that much shine. Like, you know, it must be vicious. It must be violent because in a little town like Goshen in Tulare County, it doesn't get too much shine as far as national media. But this was something major. Okay, and as it started to snowball and as more people started to hear about it, everyone had their own opinion. Like P. Diddy had Usher's asshole. They had it all the time, right? And the opinion was this. Oh, it could be cartel. Oh, it could be this. Oh, it could be that. And it was a simple north and south issue. That's not very simple. Okay, but here's the update that I've been alluding to. So when these guys were arrested by a joint task force, and best believe the feds, everybody was looking for them because initially they did think it was cartel related and they thought that posed a threat to national security. They label gang members and cartel as street terrorists, right? So this was a way to eradicate that type of situation from their community. So when they did their proper investigation, and believe people talk, as you're going to find out here in a minute, that was that. They arrested these two guys. Okay, one of them went out with no fight, locked it up, rolled it up from the cop car. He was gone. That's it. And they apprehended him. The other one wasn't going out like that. He had a little bit more edge and grit, a little bit lock on his muzzle, right? So he fought with them and got into an actual shootout where he was shot. and was in the hospital for several months before he was able to recover to go to trial. Now, subsequently, since this has happened, once people get locked up, they believe that's the end of the story, but that's just the beginning. Okay, the murder that took place, whatever, for whatever reason it was, whether it was just gang related or it was a personal issue, again, too many people lost their lives over something gang related. See, the way I was laced up back in the days is there's things known as casualties of war, but you have to carry yourself with professionalism, even when you're gangbanging. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but that's the way it is, eh? You have to carry yourself with professionalism. Kids, civilians, women, old people, off limits. Keep it to that motherfucker, man. That's the dude that's shooting you up, bang, bang. That's the dude that's putting in that work. Catch him slipping if you can, if it's that serious. If you feel in your heart of hearts, right, that guy poses that threat and you need him gone, then get him gone. But if he's holding a newborn baby in his hands or his daughter's there or anything, bro, know how to hold him and know when to fold him, can he? You got to fucking be, you can't be a gambler. You got to kick back and wait. You know, the world will give you the energy you need it to give you. Straight up. Or will it? One never knows, does one, right? But I know one thing for sure. Back in my days, man, if I seen vatos with their children, I kept on pushing. Didn't look in their direction. Didn't mean mug them. Didn't fucking throw something out the side of my neck. There was no room for that. There was no way possible as a righteous gang member, as a man, that I was going to disrespect that vato in front of his children and scare them kids, because they didn't deserve that. Even though their father was a fucking piece of shit and I wanted to grab him by his ear, get out of here, and rip that motherfucker off, I still never disrespected, just based on the fact that that's not the way I was taught to carry myself. I went by the rules and the regulations, man. By the book. Because I understood that any flaw, see, you don't get second chances in the gang. I guess you do now. You can buy back in certain little things that are going on, right? But back in my days, there was no second chances given. It was one and done. If you fucked up, and it could be something as simple as this, then you got a lot of that. And you didn't need that in your life, unless you did. And then you were crazy, right? I needed that like P. Diddy needed J-Lo. Not really. He had Meek Mill. So I'm saying that to say this. These guys disregarded all the clecha, the escuela, the game that they got, the paprika, meaning the seasoning. They didn't take to heed none of that, or they just weren't gamed up good enough at the level that these two gentlemen were supposedly at within the gang, and the status that one of them had and the other one was striving for. I could tell you, man, they should have been known what time it was. They just didn't care. And things come into play when it's like that. It can either be drugs, alcohol, or just a sense of superiority and not giving a fuck. And that's what happens in those situations, because this ain't the first time children have been killed mercilessly and aggressively, man. It happens within the gang realm. I just, they just pulled up to King City, man, had disregard for whoever was in the front. Children could have been there and got shot. Same thing happened in San Jose at a vigil. They pulled up and just let loose. Same thing happened, on a freeway in the Bay Area, where they said the alleged 3 young Southsiders shot into a car and did kill a baby. It's just happened time and time again. It seems like we're hearing about it more. That's why it seems like it's being more. And I remember when this Goshen incident happened, everybody was like, oh, Norteños kill kids. That ain't cool. It happens on both sides, but it's not supposed to. And it has nothing to do with the guys who are running the show or the guys who are them guys, right? Because they don't condone that shit. They're not going to stamp that. The moment that you choose to discharge your firearm and occupy dwelling with children and do all that, homes, you might as well cancel Christmas, because the Grinch is going to steal it. It's over. Your career is over. You're done. In fact, you're not only done in the gang's eyes, but you're done everywhere you go, forever, wherever you go. Blacks, woods, brother. We like coffee, we don't like kid killers, right? That's it. You don't got nothing coming from any ethnicity, any group. You're not going to go join in with the Bices. They're going to give you a pass. Even the GBG might suck you off into eternity. That's just what it is. They were like, we're going to kill this motherfucker by bungee. What's bungee? Bend over and we'll show you, right? That's it. The Vato's going to get death by bungee. They're going to execute him. That's just how it is. So if you do that, you choose to do that, I don't understand the reasoning why. You're not going to get a stripe. You're not cool. The baby can't talk, so there was no way to identify you. Maybe they watched too many movies. Kids grow up, and that's all they know. Didn't teach. Nah, this ain't a time to be funny. This is real life, man. This is real life. Those are real children. So anyways, like I said, the beat goes on like a whisper song and people go to trial. And that's where the real story begins. Because that's when you find out where that heart's at. That's where you find out who's going to say what, who's going to stick to the grit. Well, in this case, there's two individuals that are going on trial for this execution style these murders. One of them is a guy named Noah Beard, who's of mixed ethnicity, black and Mexican. He's the younger of the two, was the one that was basically striving, the hitter, the soldado, right? Within the Norteño movement, Southsiders, everyone, you always have that young homeboy, man, that's just a smacker, right? Like, I ain't even got a trip, the young homie would get off. And people do that, and it's kind of like a grooming thing. Not grooming them like in a way to fucking suck your chorra, but grooming them in a way to like, it's like, bro, I'm going to show you how to be that one. But really, it's manipulating. You keep the youngster there so that way if something goes down, he gets caught with the cuete, he goes and does time, you're good in the hood, right? He's the smacker, he's the shooter. My name's Bennett, I'm not in it. In this case, that's what it looked like these guys were. From the same barrio, the same area. And Tulare County, man, let me explain to you about Tulare County. TC is one of the main, Norteño strongholds as far as counties. Their county is very well known. They got an old school flavor to them. Vaisa, Poros, Tula, Goshen, Exeter, Limas, all that, right? Dinuba, Lince, all that's very well known. I did time with a lot of guys from Tulare County since I was a kid. And TC, once they get locked up, yeah, they might be from Vaisa, they might be from Poros, but once they get locked up, it's TC all day, Tulare County. That's their carro. That's how they rock. They got love for everyone from TC. So I know how the get down is. But anyways, this youngster, Noah Beard, and not very, very young, but young in the mind, is the alleged shooter in this case. Meaning he's the one that chased the girl down, jumped over the fence, and fucking did what he did, right, to her and the baby. Now, on the other hand, Youre Done is the bigger homie in this case, man. And he's the one that shoot him up, banged with the cops. Wasn't going out like that, and the cops shot him several times. Whatever, right? So now they're on the preliminary hearing. They just went to the preliminary hearing a couple months back. And Noah Beard, just like in typical fashion, is snitching. He's right in the same courtroom, and his lawyer hit him with a bamboozle. See, usually guys will do one of two things. You get two options. You could fight the case with the crime partner all the way. You guys are both given independent lawyers, but you guys fight the case, and your lawyers work hand in hand to facilitate some type of, relationship between this case, because it's the same exact case. If you have nothing to hide, you haven't made no statements or nothing, then that's usually how it goes. But you can also separate your case so that way his bullshit doesn't become your bullshit, doesn't make you look bad, because best believe everything's coming out there. And his criminal activity might be more extensive than yours. And in that case, I do say, man, separate your cases. Not because someone's telling, but because fucking, you don't want to get caught up behind him robbing a fucking Circle K back in 94, right? It just ain't cool. So in this case, these guys are both there in court. And Noah Beard, the younger guy, is blaming Uriel, basically snitching already, saying that not that he was forced to do the shooting, that he didn't do the shooting at all. That Uriel's the one that killed the whole household. That stepped on the roaches and everything in there. He did everything. He blames him totally. And his excuse is that Uriel is scared to admit it because he's scared of what the big homies might think. Well, guess what? Doesn't matter who actually pulled the trigger. None of that matters. It's kill time. You're done. Whether you fucking pulled the trigger or not, you were there that night. You were involved. It's different. Hey, this is the only way I could have seen it playing out different is if the homie would have chased the little girl down and did that, and you'd have just smacked the homie like, what the fuck you doing, fool? Right? Then you could have went straight to the big homies and whoever was in position, right? I don't want to involve the big homies in nothing because that's not them, right? But you could run to whoever you had to run to, your channel, your proper channel, say, look, bro, this is what happened. We went in there and smacked some shit, bro. Vatos were struggling. Boom, boom, I got off where I was mad at. The little homie took off running. He's on some different shit. Bro, I just smacked him, homie. You know what I mean? It's I don't fuck with that, killing kids. You could have got a pass. They could have been like, hey, that's right, homie. You know what I mean? All right, let's tuck it. Like, fuck it. Let's go hide, right? But probably more than likely not. Because you've brought negative attention and did some dirt that you shouldn't have done. Did they get that cleared? Were they able to go do something like that? Probably not. They probably just did it, just whatever. Tonight is the night, We're going to make him a one. You said you'll be gentle with me. And they just did their thing, Betty Wright style, right? But I'm going to tell you the truth right here. I seen this one coming. It happens in a lot of these type of crimes. One guy is like, fuck that, the blame game. He did it. It's all him. But his fucking excuse is just, it's on camera, the guy who chased it down. And allegedly, the guy in that video is Noah Beard, right? He's the actual shooter, or one of them, the one that did the two kids. So for him to try to be twisting and blaming it on his homie, he's just double bad. Not only are they both bad, let me explain to you. If they go to prison, if they get convicted and they go tomorrow to prison, they go to the morgue the next day if they're put on general population. If they are placed on an SNY yard, they will be able to wiggle. There are still going to be guys that don't like child killers, but depending upon where they place them, if they place them over there with Danny Masterson or in a PHU protective house, I doubt they'll go there, right? If Danny didn't go there, Uriel ain't going there, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they're getting killed the day they get off the bus. It's going to happen. No. On a general population 4-yard 180 or even a 3-yard 270, yes. Then I'd stamp that and reverse it. It's just going to happen, right? But on any other yard, an SNY yard, or even maybe these integrated yards, they're going to have trouble. They're going to be placed somewhere, and it's going to be all bad. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but the next day or the next day. Because Vatos don't play about child killers. They're right there in between chomos and snitches, and just right there. Just camped out, piggybacking right. That's just how that is. But that's the update, man. They went to court, and Noah Beard, the half black, half Mexican one, is basically blaming everything on Uriel. Where's that gangster mentality when you're killing kids and killing people and anybody can get it? Where's that mentality at now? In the face of incarceration, in the face of doing time, it's crazy. Vatos will fucking shoot it up, bang, bang on the streets, gang bang to the fullest, disrespect people, run up in households, home invasions, just do all kinds of crazy shit. And then get in the precinct and be like, what'd you say? We said 4 months, sir. 4 months? You mean I'm going to miss WrestleMania? Yeah, you're going to miss WrestleMania, bitch, for the next 40 years. It just is what it is, man. It's upsetting that these guys, both of them, but especially Noah Beard, can even think to do that. Quick to throw the homie under the bus. Hey, ride it out to the honeycomb, hide it out. You did that, right? Allegedly. I'm just saying, there's the update, man, the Goshen Massacre. Again, if you don't know the story behind it, man, make sure you look into it, Google it, and that just is what it is, right? With that being said, I hope that you move with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. Guess what? Part 3, Super Norteño, my primo, coming up later on this afternoon. Are you guys ready? Or am I doing too much? Sabes que, guess what? This one right here, if you watched the first 2, you ain't ready for the next 2, right? The first one was good. The second one was great. The third one, awesome. Thumbs up or thumbs down. If he's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive for what I truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people, is which I'm keeping this case alive and giving you updates when I can on the Goshen Massacre. Because 1, I believe life is precious and every child should be seasoned, schooled, and taught, right? Not fucking brought down because of the fucking devious thoughts of someone's clouded mind, right? And because I truly believe, man, the children are the future. Like a Michael Jackson song, only Michael had the game fucked up. I believe in the real shit. I like Whitney Houston's verse better. Wait up, she smoked crack too. They were all fucked up. I think Willie Nelson, wait up. That fool was a pothead. Stevie Wonder was blind, so he didn't see shit coming. The Gun. Bang, bang.